wrote that Dickens wrote a lot of words because he got paid by the word. So he overwrote in order to get paid more, but we don't do that anymore. The fewer words, the better. So I cut quite a bit of the script without changing the story much at all, and then I put it together and learned it, and I do that. And the reason I do it has to do with the time of year, and I don't know if any of you all have spent any time living outside, homeless, but I did, and I noticed that the one thing that was really a great comfort to me was the sun. And so I began to, and being a Leo, which is ruled by the sun, I began to research a little bit, and I found out that in the ancient days, not that far ago, but we don't think about it this way anymore, there are these stages of the year that the sun passes through, that our ancestors used to celebrate, starting with the winter solstice. Now there's a reason why Christ is said to be born at the winter solstice, because that's when the light, which seems to be dark, starts to come back to the northern hemisphere. Jesus was born in the northern hemisphere, and most of our cultural references are because we live in the northern hemisphere. It's not fair, but it's the way it is. So then I began to write plays about these different stations of the year, and the first one I wrote was called Nativity, and we're going to do that here starting November 27th. So I wanted you to know about that. And then I will be doing my 13th Concise Dickens Christmas Carol, which I don't know, every year when I pick it up again, I think, oh gosh, there's so many things I didn't see in it before. So that's that. And you all know what that's like. If you repeat something, you perform it over and over for any period of time. If it's going to be lasting at all, you've got to keep finding new stuff in it, or you'll get bored and then you'll bore your audiences. So that's just that. So I want to do a poem tonight. It's called I Pledge Allegiance ? It seems like a good idea because, this is a political week. And the thing about this poem, I was going through my old files on my computer on Saturday, and I found this poem that I didn't recognize the title, in the list of files. So I opened it up, and I found that it was incomplete. I had just sort of trailed off into oblivion with it, but I thought, oh, the beginning's not bad, and then so I rewrote it, and I didn't really mean to do that this weekend. I meant to do something else, but I ended up writing a poem, so that's all right. It's called I Pledge Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to a flag. I can't pledge allegiance to a flag. Oh, but wait, there's more. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Right, the stars and stripes, I get it. But this, and to the republic for which it stands. The flag stands for a political state? Now wait, something about that feels like a warning. Like something's fishy. Salesman's kind of swarmy. Do they mean allegiance to a system? Or is it a government they're assisting to exist by requiring citizens to repeat the myth, one nation under God, General Eisenhower's riff, with liberty and justice for all? We learned to say that from an early age, and we might add amen as we did then when I was a boy back in my school days. No, that's not true. It was the Lord's Prayer we said amen to, but they ran together like two watercolors, with one considered holy as the other. So we learned the flag and the Bible were one and the same, never meant to be rivals. Only later did they mention that's actually illegal. The state can't join or promote any religion, says the First Amendment of the Constitution. Some kids leaving school never get that information. Now, if I claim a right to a religious exemption from a law which the state legislates for all, like for harboring fugitives escaped from immigration or refusing to pay taxes for weapons for war, I'll go to jail for my conscientious objection. But if I obey the state's secular rule, pledging loyalty first to the flag of my nation, and claiming exemption from my sacred obligations, well, I'll pay my war tax, whatever I owe, turn in the illegal Dominicans next door, set traps to break backs of the rats beneath the floor, conveniently ignoring what my religion restricts, surrendering to the state what I owe instead to it. Then can state and church really coexist? False prophets will insist it's God's plan to enrich the faithful in both spirit and in land, but they speak an extra scriptural tongue. If they speak Judeo-Christian, Buddhist, Hindu, or Muslim, to name a familiar few of the best-known ones, simplicity, even poverty, is preferable spiritually to all the gold the Vatican holds against the odds of failing to secure eternity. The state, by and large, agrees. Would love to end the freeze on taxes on the properties where reverends and priests run their holy businesses, living essentially for free. State and religion have long been natural enemies, and now that science has joined the conversation, compromising probably terminally both church and state's absolute authority, who do you suppose we the people should believe? Now, I think it's wise to take none of them literally, and just as wise to take them all seriously. But it's smart to save your pledge of loyalty for the original you, your one and only, alive in the core of your own privacy. That's the one in me I like talking to, who demands no pledge to a partisan flag or insists on a church I must go to, but asks only patience, trust, and surrender to faith that before it's too late, relief of my need will arrive as requested, especially if I ignore my objections. Now call it conscience, call it obstinance, say I'm hostile to authority, refusing to cooperate, but neither church nor state nor upstart science has permission to invade or override my right to the sovereignty of my own mind, lest I betray the one who looks out through my eyes. I welcome inside all who'd rather be kind than make war over your belief against mine. Since neither of us can be right all the time, why bicker and fight? Why waste our lives when however much we rage and whine, whatever truth is, it will still survive regardless of your opinion or of mine. That's what I think of our national divide. See, we're willing to die, insisting we're right, as if Earth doesn't support both day and night.
Let's hear it one more time for Delaney.